G'day everyone, this is that concerned guy. As some of you have heard, there was a terrorist attack that occurred on the streets of Melbourne, which was reported on the news on November 9th. Yes, it is apparent that it is terrifying and it's sad, but it's no real surprise anymore. It is not. It's not even considered anything new these days. This incident occurred on Bourke Street, Melbourne, and this incident involved a car being set on fire, and also three innocent men were stabbed by a Islamic Somali immigrant. Three innocent men got stabbed. One of them died, and this sort of thing. This sort of thing. It's been happening for so long, especially in in Western countries, that receives immigration from Islamic countries, and of course, for too long, the masses of Australia and other Western nations have been far too tolerant towards these sort of things happening, and really, people need to snap out of their so-called guilt, in appeasing this sort of immigrant groups. And of course, it's not all people from these immigrant groups are like that. Of course not. But unfortunately, when you have large scale immigration from these sort of cultural groups, religious groups, it is inevitable that you're gonna receive the bad apples, the really bad apples, rotten, smelly, disgusting apples. That spoils everything else for everyone else, and it's not being prejudiced or being racist or xenophobic, Islamophobic or whatever. It's we got to be more practical. We got to be more logical about who is allowed to come into countries such as Australia, other Western nations. It's Western civilization has been placed with guilt to things that occurred decades ago, centuries ago. Yes, Western civilization has done some terrible things in the past, but it's the same thing with other civilizations before that. Even doesn't matter if it's Western civilization, if it's the Muslim Crusades, if it's the Ottoman Empire or the dynasty or whatever. There's always been atrocities occurred among different groups. It's just human nature that conflicts happen. It's not just certain groups that are responsible. It happens to nations and societies around the world, and many people know that all this immigration, this sort of immigration, will just lead to the downfall of Western nations such as Australia. And and we need to stop. People need to stop freely throwing the words xenophobic, Islamophobic, bigot, racist, whatever, because those words lack any meaning these days. It's worn off their meanings because these politically correct progressives, cultural Marxist sheep throw around these words like it's nothing. They just throw it just because they get offended because the truth hurts their feelings. We need to stop this sort of cuckoldry. It's time to stand up. It's time to protect our nations, protect our people, and stop appeasing those who seek to destroy the nations that they hate. If they want to do this sort of things, they can go back to their own countries, and do, and if they don't like the way of life here in Australia or other Western nations, then go back to they should go back to their own countries. And there's gonna be a countercultural war. It's already starting to happen. The more this goes on, eventually the countercultural war will just escalate more and more, and then we'll see the rise of extremist groups, right-wing groups that will retaliate. It's inevitable. And the left-wing groups, left-leaning people need to wake up and realize that these sort of people, these sort of immigrant groups, are not their friends. It's time to face reality and stop living there, and stop believing that we can have a utopian society where all groups, all cultures will blend in and mix in harmony. No, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And there's so much proof that's been happening. It's been reported so many times. It's been shown on the news and other sources that it's come from England, Sweden, France, Germany, etc., etc. This Melbourne attack, it's really sad because, Melbourne it's been such a lovely city, that many people like to visit for its cultural attractions and sporting attractions, and it's been destroyed by these bad apples, and Melbourne being the social justice warrior capital, or the cuck capital of Australia, it's no real surprise that not much will be done for a long time in regards to all these bad things happening because of this left-wing fantasy that many people there are living in their dream world instead of facing reality. Anyways, please leave a comment. Tell me about your thoughts, opinions, what you think, what's going to happen in the near future, what's the predictions going to be. Please give this clip a like, thumbs up like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time. Mabuhay.